Welcome back to the Travsessed podcast. We're your hosts, Kim and Aaron. We are healthcare travelers and the creators of Travsessed, and we are coming to you live from Athens, Greece, where we are about to start our first ever Travsessed Greece trip. We have 2 trips here in Greece, which is absolutely amazing. But first, we can't talk about Greece until we recap Oaxaca, Mexico, and how much of an amazing trip that was. So we are going to get into that right now.
Flight crew, please prepare for departure.
So I just want to start off by just saying that I'm unwell.
Look at your hair.
Babe, I washed it.
No, you just...
It's air drying.
You just did like a thing with your hair and it was
it's
like
called
loop-de-loop.
a flip. Okay.
Oh, flip. Okay.
A flip. I have a cold or something, which is so funny because I was in Mexico. Everybody had diarrhea. Everybody had tummy aches for the most part. I guess not almost everybody. Mm-hmm. Here or there. That's normal when you're traveling to a country like a Mexico or Bali or just any other countries.
Thailand, I mean.
You're just your biome, your gut isn't used to the different foods, the water, things like that. So that's normal. That happens. I was pretty fine there for the most part until we got to Greece.
The last day.
The last day, you're right. So the last day I blew mud all over the restaurant, which we can talk about a little bit because that was one of the worst. That was the worst moment of my life. And also why I don't wear shoes in the house. So let's circle back to that. So yes, the last day in Oaxaca, my tummy was upset, but then I was fine. And then we get to Greece. I've had TMI, but I've had diarrhea since we've been here. And now I have some kind of a cold. And I'm like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. So anyways, I'm just not feeling my absolute best today.
Yeah, I, on the other hand, started off first night. Horrible stomach cramps, TMI, pooped my pants in the bed.
You have to specify you're talking about Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah. You were on the back end. I was on the front end. Mm-hmm. Horrible first night of the trip. And then it just kind of carried on throughout, but I managed, held it together. Didn't poop my pants anymore.
I mean, nice. Are you really in Mexico if you don't shit the bed?
I mean, you're not eating right.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I didn't, but I did blow mud all over a bathroom, so
you did.
I guess that it's equivalent.
Yeah, so I mean, we all had our moments. I mean, you were just hovering over the toilet.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
So...
something to look forward to.
The last podcast we did, we were anticipating the group coming in. And here we are on the other side, which is, again, time is weird. Time is weird. Like, what the heck? How did that happen?
I know.
A whole week.
Right in, like, across the world.
I know. We're, like, in another continent, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking weird shit. So, we had an awesome trip. It was a small group.
Smallest Travsessed group ever.
Smallest Travsessed group ever. We almost didn't do it. And I'm so glad we did.
Oh my God, 100%. Okay.
Do you want to talk?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I was being your hype man.
Oh, well, so I was just saying it was a great trip. Like, you can continue talking.
I don't have anything to say. I was being your hype man.
Oh.
I was letting you roll. Is that it? That's all you were going to say?
Yeah, it was an amazing trip. It was a small group, which was cool because in the people, so everybody in this group has been on a Travsessed trip before besides two people.
Which is basically 75% of the group.
That's true. But the people who had been on Travsessed trips before, they were like, this was really unique because it was a smaller group. Usually our groups are like 10 people or
10
12.
to 12. Mm-hmm.
Like we really got to know each other. Like at the table, it was like we were just at one very small table. We could all talk, So it definitely was more intimate. Like you just got close with the people that you were with but like I feel like that happens even with our groups of 10 to 12. Mm-hmm. But this was just like a very close group, intimate experience. Yeah. And so they were like, I really liked that. But I also like a big group too. Like they're both great in their own way, right?
It was neither positive nor negative.
Yeah, it was just neutral. It was like, this was awesome and super unique, but I also love 10 people too. So it's like it could go either way.
No, I mean, I'm excited that we launched the first ever Travsessed, Oaxaca. I think it's a keeper. Really love that trip. Love the itinerary. Love the people. We did get a really immersive experience because we didn't have so many people. I mean, if we'd had 12 people like going into Bogey's bar, it would have been like crazy. Are you gonna puke or something?
No, just try and hold it in.
Okay.
So, okay, let's talk about Bogey first. So, because we got to put context around what we're talking about because people don't know what Bogey's bar is, right? So, I feel like another part of what makes this trip special is that we have a lot of like local friends on the ground, right? We'll call them friends now.
La Familia.
La Familia, yeah. And when we went last year to research, we ended up meeting, because we did a food tour and a mezcal tour with Oaxaca, which is a company, and Omar is the
owner, creator.
And he's basically like famous. He was on Someone Eats Phil. He was on
Someone Eats Phil.
What is it?
Somebody Feed Phil.
Someone Feed Phil. Gordon Ramsay.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah, he's like a Oaxaca
icon.
Yeah, he's amazing. He knows everybody. He's got the inside scoop. And so we booked with them last year, but then we ended up meeting randomly him out before we left and kind of like made a deeper connection with him, with Omar. And then Bogey, we call him Bogey, Bogart was our mezcal guide like last year. And then Labor was our food tour guide, all through Omar's company. And so last year we had this incredible experience, became friendly with them. But then this year we got even closer with them. And because of that, I feel like it really, for me, the guides on the ground are local people because you and I plan all the things, but then the local people are what really take it to another level.
Totally.
Because like we could do a food tour, but like if you're with some dud guide that's not like teaching you things and interacting and like giving you the inside scoop, those are the things that make the experiences so much better.
100%. And I think that was something that even our people in the Travsessed Oaxaca group were like, dude, when you guys walked up, they like freaked out and like came up and gave you a big hug, and it made us feel just like so welcome. Like we were like, holy crap, like this is going to be amazing. And so we love that because these guides are everything and we make solid relationships with them. And it was a year ago, we did one tour and Labor was like, oh my God, it's you guys? Like, hell yeah, dude, you guys are awesome. And he was like so excited, which then that energy like propelled the group the whole time. And we got such an inside look that I don't feel like a lot of people get.
No. And I will say that's one of the most important things. Like obviously creating unique itineraries, but is number one, but really finding and connecting with awesome local guides everywhere we go and plan trips is such an important part of what we do, because without them, it would just be a trip. Like it, you know what I mean? It's so important.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Let's tell this story. So we go on the food tour, amazing food tour. Oaxaca in general, the value that you get through their tours is like none other. I mean, it's literally, Kim and I have said, the best tours we've done around the world. Like with the value, the guides, where we get to go. We're not on like a tourist path. We're like inside, like backstage kind of like things with all of these locals, which is like absolutely phenomenal. So we end the food tour. It's a great day. We end at the wine bar. We're all sitting around. Omar comes back. He's sitting there. We're all talking. Omar just leaves the tab open for like the wine bar and just lets us kind of get drinks as many as we want. It was like phenomenal. And I had the previous year kind of heard about Oaxaca baseball and like didn't really know about it. Didn't really like. I just knew they had a team, and so I love their hat, and I like to collect baseball hats from like the different stadiums they go to. So I just bought a Oaxaca hat just because I really loved it there, and it's black and it's fitted and it's baseball and it was just really cool. And so we show up at the wine bar, and Omar says they're going to a Oaxaca baseball game. And I was like, wait, they're playing? And he was like, it's the playoffs. And he was like, we haven't been in the playoffs for years, and we're like really good. And then he says, by the way, you look like our star baseball player from America, Kyle Martin. And he was like, you look identical to him. It's insane how much you look like him. And so he pulls up a picture, and when Kyle Martin had a beard, we did look very similar. Twins. And so he goes, do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. So I literally told Kim, I don't care if the group goes. I don't care if you go. I don't care how I get there. I'm walking. I'm running. I'm going to go to this game because I really want to see a baseball game in Oaxaca.
Mm-hmm. And it was we had nothing planned that night. So the food tour was the day. And then like that night was an open night. So people could kind of do what they wanted. So we had the open night. And then when he was like, do you guys want to go? It was one of those times that you're just like, when are you ever going to get to do this? Like go to a baseball game, again, not with local people, to get that real
local
experience.
Famous people.
Yeah, to get that kind of experience, like you got to go, like you got to go. And so everybody in the group was like, yeah, I'm in, like, let's go, let's do this. It sounds awesome. And so we go to the game. And it was insane. I've never seen anything like it. I have
never, like, this put American baseball to shame when it comes down to the crowd. Like, Omar and his crew had noisemakers. There was people with drums in the stadium. So they have this entire bag of stuff. And they have 3 or 4 entire bags of confetti. Mm-hmm. And so he said, we celebrate when something happens. And I said, well, what is that considered? Like a home run? Or he was like, no. If they catch the ball, confetti. If they base hit, confetti. If they get a double, confetti. If they get a home run, it's an entire bag of confetti. Like,
yeah, it's
I'm just like, wait, what? So we just celebrate everything? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm game. Like, we had little noisemakers.
They're very passionate. And the confetti was insane.
Oh my God.
I feel bad for the people who clean up the stadium. It was insane. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It was all in our hair. And I found some in my butthole later. Like, I swear to God. I was wiping and I was like, confetti.
Yeah.
Like, but it was being with them and their passion made it so much fun. It wasn't some like boring ass baseball game. And we were there on an awesome game.
Yeah.
There was what, like 4 home runs?
7.
7? That's insane.
Yep.
Like, that doesn't happen.
7, like the benches cleared because they threw at Kyle Martin's head. Like, it was like a whole thing. Like, they had beef before. They threw the pitcher out. The coach got thrown out. Like, the crowd was going crazy. Oh, and on top of that, it's the Guerreros, which is the Warriors. Oaxaca de Guerreros. And they literally do the tomahawk chop in the stands. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is insane. My favorite college football team, diehard Florida State, which, God bless America, I can't believe we lost to Georgia Tech. But anyway, my pro baseball team is the Braves. And now the Oaxaca Guerreros are the tomahawk chop. So we were doing, and they had Florida State's band playing as the
I know, it's so weird.
It was insane.
I know.
So it was like, and then the drums are doom 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 in the audience, like in the crowd. It was such a high level of excitement. And
we were on the jumbotron like the entire game, basically. I think we were 100% the only like tourist Americans there.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was all, like, Oaxacans. Like, it was all local people, and then it was just us and just on the Jumbotron. I think they were just like, what are these people doing here?
Right.
Like,
do they know where they're at?
Like, it was like an act, you know, like a show.
Yeah.
It was just one of those nights, one of those memories that you'll never forget because it was so random and so different. And we could never have planned that. Like, if we were... like with the group, like, okay, guys, we're going to go to a baseball game. Like, it just, you could never plan something like that. It was so organic. It was so natural. And it just happened.
Not to mention, the beers were 2 for $1, and they were 200 pesos, which is like $4.
Really?
Something like that. Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
And then the food.
The hot dog.
The hot dogs, the tortas, the burritos, the tacos.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm not a big hot dog girly.
Oh, you fucking tore that off. With jalapenos.
Yeah, they serve their hot dogs with jalapenos, onions. Like,
all fresh ingredients.
Oh my
Somebody's back there picking them from the farm. And
it was freaking dynamite, man.
It was.
I just ate that in a trance. Like, I was just, like, living my best life. I was like, don't talk to me. I'm eating my hot dog.
The local Victoria beer. Oof.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
I had a clamada.
Ew.
I mean,
that was next level disgusting.
I mean,
it's clam juice and tomato.
And hot, what do you call it? Tahini around the rim.
Oh, what was the alcohol?
Beer.
Oh, God. That's even worse.
Somebody ordered it for me and I drank it.
Okay. So then Omar, because he knows everybody, he's like, we're going to go down into the locker room so that you can meet Kyle, to Aaron, because, again, he's like, this is your twin. You guys must meet. So we go down there. It's too chaotic, too crazy. So Omar's like, we're going to go head over to Bogey's Bar, which, again, Bogart was our mezcal guide. He owns a mezcaleria in town where he sells mezcal and, like, gets mezcal. You can go there and drink mezcal, whatever. It's a bar only for mezcal. Okay. So he's like, we're going to head there, and Kyle's going to meet us there. And we're walking, and I'm like, and again, we've been going, like, all day, and I'm like, oh, shit, like, I really don't want to go out. Like, I'm so tired, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, we'll just go for, like, one drink so you can meet Kyle, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to rally, because, again, it's like, when are you going to get to do this, right? Like, so go to the bar, and we're all, like, hanging out. It's Omar,
Bogart,
Bogey,
Labor,
did he come?
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're all just, like, hanging out, drinking mezcal, and then Kyle walks in.
Hold on, back it up a little bit. So we're like, should we pretend that we don't know him?
Yeah, that's what I said.
We're just going to, like, act like he walks in. We're not even going to say anything.
Like, we're not even acknowledging his existence. Yeah. So he feels so awkward.
Totally. And then Omar gets the idea. He's like, no, we're going to, like, celebrate. We're going to, like, go crazy in the bar when he walks in. So he runs out to his car and he grabs all the noisemakers. And now, mind you, again, some of us, like Judo Jeff, is a little out of control at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we're tanked.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, mezcal is flowing after all of this, after all the drinking and the wine bar and the espresso martinis with mezcal and the beers and the clamadas and nonstop.
Disgusting.
Yeah. So Kyle walks in and I'm sitting and I see him walk in. Now, he doesn't know us. He doesn't know what we look like. He just knows Omar. And so before he walks in, we're making noise. And the people in the bar in the mezcaleria was like, is that what you call it? Mezcalita? Mezcaleria?
Yeah, mezcaleria.
We're like annoyed as shit. Like, because this is like a local bar. Small, that people just go to like sip mezcal and talk.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like...
It's chill.
Yeah, very chill. So we're making all this noise and they're like annoyed. They're like glaring at us. And so Kyle walks in. And I'm like, he's here. So we all start going crazy. I have like a little whistle I'm blowing.
We all have our noisemakers. Yeah.
He walks in just stunned.
He's like, hey guys.
So then the bar is like pissed off that we're going crazy. They turn around and see Kyle Martin walk in and the bar starts going crazy.
Yeah.
They're like running up to him, like signing jerseys, like he's doing, and he's just like going with it, like being so cool.
Yeah.
And then he gets a mezcal, and we all just like sit and talk.
Yeah.
And it was just like so chill that he would come out after a game, come to a bar that he doesn't know anybody.
No.
Just to like meet me, basically.
Yeah. His twin
and hang out.
You looked nothing like each other.
No, because he's shaved now.
It was insane because the pictures, I was like, that's you. Like, that is you. But then he showed up and I'm like, okay, you look nothing alike. He had a bald face. And he said he shaved his beard because he wasn't doing well.
He wasn't hitting well.
He wasn't hitting well. So he shaved it for like luck or whatever. Now, like, he's been doing better, so he can't grow it back. And he was just so freaking cool. Like, he's from the U.S. He plays for Oaxaca. He lives in Texas, or he's from Texas.
He played with the Phillies.
And he was just such a down-to-earth, cool fucking guy. We just talked. Like, and again, people were coming over, hey, can you sign this? And he's like, yeah. And he
taking pictures.
Yeah, like I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know, like what? And he came because he's friends with Omar. And for us, and I just thought that was so freaking cool. And like, you were living your wet dream because you obviously love baseball. Like, and that night was so much fun, but I know how much that meant to you because you're somebody who like loves baseball. And
I got to go to a baseball game in another country.
Yeah.
Playoff game with a American player.
Yeah.
Who is killing it over there.
Yeah. And who did, I mean, it was the best game. It was such an active.
Oh, we won, by the way, Oaxaca. That game.
Oh, yeah. like what was the score? It was something insane.
12-4.
And I always feel like baseball games are more like slow, kind of boring. You know, in that, I mean, 12, like that's a high number. And it was just nonstop freaking action. So anyways, we're all hanging out. We're talking to Kyle and he's like, okay, like I gotta go. Cause he had a game the next day. Yeah. He's like, I'd love to hang out, but like, I gotta go. And then and then Bogart's like, you need to try this mezcal. Remember? And he's like, okay, I'll have like one more, but he just sipped it.
There was so much going on.
Oh my God.
Like Bogart was so drunk.
Fucking wasted.
And he was like saying that like he shaved his beard because he wasn't hitting good. And then Bogey's like, you need somebody to spit mezcal in your face. And he's like, bro, I'm literally not understanding what you're saying. Why would somebody spit mezcal in my face? And he's like, it would take all your bad luck away. Just
like, that's what,
in your face.
He's like that's what the locals do.
And I was like, are you trying to tell him to go to a Temacao ceremony? And he's like, no, I'll get some good mezcal and I'll spit in his face and then he'll hit good. And I'm like, bro, I don't think he understands. Like, American culture, we don't understand spitting alcohol in somebody's face. Yeah,
it was so next level. And Kyle was just like, okay.
All right, dude, cool. And then Colin called him a Chad.
Yeah, which I didn't even know what that was.
He's like, bro, I've never been in a frat ever in my life. And he's like, Chad.
I don't know what Chad means. I'm assuming it's something that you're like a fuckboy or something.
Possibly. I don't know either. I've never looked it up, but I feel like it's what's the word?
Like a bro?
Karen.
Okay.
Like Karen.
Like a bro.
Yeah, and so we tried to roll that back. Like, I don't think he understands what Chad means.
I didn't understand it.
Kyle I felt.
And he's not a Chad. He was the coolest guy ever.
I felt so bad. I still feel like, does he even, like, oh my God, he's probably like, dude, that was horrible.
Nah, I think it was fine. He was literally there for like an hour.
In the time he was there, he got told to be spit in the face with mezcal. Then, like, something else that Bogey was talking about, who knows. And then Colin calls him a Chad.
Yeah.
I was trying to at least be like, so what's your off-season routine?
What's new?
How'd you and your wife meet? Like, trying to, like, at least have a normal conversation.
I had many conversations with him.
You did?
Yeah.
Like what?
About all kinds of things.
Like what?
Like, I asked him how he got to Oaxaca from, like, why is he playing for Oaxaca? Okay. And, like, how did that happen? Like, being from the U.S., and, like, do you like it here? Like, do you miss home? And blah, blah, like, just, like, talking about all of that.
Okay.
We had great conversations.
Good.
Yeah. great.
I'm
really
glad.
connected.
I'm glad he had something to talk about.
I think I was a safe space because I was the
like,
sober one.
Can we not talk about baseball?
No, he's like, come on, guys, he doesn't want to talk about baseball anymore. And we were like,
Well, what else did we talk to the man about?
His life.
I did. I asked him about his wife and everything. That's his life.
Right.
His life is baseball.
It was a very well-rounded conversation.
He literally was like, after this season, I have 2 weeks to go home, and then I have to come back for winter ball.
Yeah.
So, like, he gets to go home for 2 weeks.
So then Kyle leaves.
Yeah.
Kiki's out, and then
Colin snatched some random dude off the street with a guitar and pulled him into the bar.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Bogey got all upset because he's like, he's going to have to pay him.
So we paid the man because Colin wanted to sing. The guy kept up. He did pretty good.
If you've ever seen Dumb and Dumber, it was literally the scene in the car when they picked up the hitchhikers and they're singing Mock. Yeah, see, yeah, see. Like, Colin's like, play like, what'd you ask him to play?
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, and the guy's just playing something, and Colin's just like freestyling it. But like, it didn't go, but it kind of worked.
Yeah.
It was.
We were loving it.
Totally random. So then I put on my playlist, we're singing Whitney Houston.
So we ended up paying the guy.
Yeah.
The guy leaves because Bogey wanted him out.
Yeah.
We pay the guy. Then we put on the Spotify list and basically turn it into a dance club. Mm-hmm. So we're listening to Britney Spears and Whitney, and we're all like dancing. And like, again, in the other room, people are just sitting, sipping on mezcal by candlelight, okay? It's like an intimate vibe. And we're all dancing and singing and screaming and just down. Like out of control.
Omar was dancing.
Everybody.
Bogey was dancing.
And this is Bogey's place. He wasn't even working.
No, he's like, my guys got it. It's their place now.
It was like
okay.
So then we were just like having so much fun, and then Omar was like, I want to take you guys to one more place. Because we were like, okay, we're going to like go, right? And then he's like, let me just take you guys to one more place. So we're like, okay, like again, it was one of those nights that you're just fucking going with the flow. Where is this night going to go? We don't freaking know, but let's do it. So then so Omar has a driver. And so the three girls rode in his car, and then me and Colin and Aaron rode in Bogey's car. Now, we should not have gotten in the car with him because he was drunk. We were literally going a couple of blocks, why didn't we just walk? We should have just walked. Mm-hmm. Anyways, this is I do not suggest doing this.
No.
Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't even know.
Well,
the car ride from fucking hell. That was
/ coolest thing ever.
It was so funny.
Okay, if any of you listening have ever seen Super Troopers, the first one, mm-hmm. when the cops pull up and then like they leave, and then they're sitting there and they're wondering what's going on, and then they come back. That's basically what happened. So like we get in the car, Bogey's like, oh shoot, like, where's Omar going? Like, I need to get a hold of Omar. So he's literally in the middle of the street with the hazards on. And we're like, bro, you're in the middle of the road with your hazards on. He's like, this is my city. I do what I want. And I'm like, okay, like, we're along for the ride. And then all of a sudden he's like sitting there, and I say something about like, well, like, what if the cops come or something? And he's like, oh, don't even worry about that. Literally right after I said it, 2 police officers on 1 motorcycle pull up, and they go really slow past the street, and they're just staring right at us. And so Bogey's like, oh shit. So like he just pulls over and just parks the car, and he's just sitting there.
With the hazard.
And he was like, it don't matter. Like, I'll pay off a cop so fast. And then we're sitting there and we're waiting. He's like, they're going to swing back around. Watch. They're going to swing back around. Here they come. Oh, here they come. So we're like, oh shit.
We were like freaking out.
It was literally like
DoorDash.
a DoorDash guy flies by on a motorcycle, and he's like, haha, just playing.
It was so, like, it was the funniest car ride I've ever been in.
He had his West Coast America playlist on.
And then, like, he was like, can you navigate to Aaron? so that I can drive. And then Aaron would be like, okay, like turn left. And he'd be like, this is my city. I know where I'm going. And you're like, okay, well then you asked me to navigate for you. And then he would keep going straight.
He passed the street.
And then he's like, why didn't you tell me to turn? And you're like, I did.
And then he said, uh-oh, roadblock.
Oh, no, he said,
checkpoint.
That's what it was, a checkpoint. There's a checkpoint up there. I'm like, where? He's like, we got to go.
Trust me.
So he turns down like another road and we're like, where the heck are we going? It ended up taking us like 20 minutes to go a couple of blocks. And the other car was like, where were you guys? Like, what is going on? Like, we've been standing out here for 20 minutes. And we're like, yeah, I don't know. Ask Bogey.
Yep.
Just completely out of control.
Yep.
But it was so fun. Like, Colin and I were just in the back giggling because we're like, what is actually happening right now?
Yeah, he's like, I'll pay off a cop so fast.
Yeah.
And he's like, but it changes because you guys are in the car.
Yeah, and then he was...
And I'm like, well, wait, what? What does that mean? And he was like, well, we ain't paying off a cop with 3 Americans in the car. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, he was just talking like crazy stuff. And
then he... was blaring the music. That was his California playlist.
When he lived there.
Because he lived in LA for a while. Anyway, so we make it in one piece, thank God. I mean, we literally were driving 2 miles an hour the whole time with the hazards on. So, like, there's that. But I could have walked faster. Yeah. But then we get there. And we didn't know where Omar was taking us. But he's like, I'm going to take you to, like, one more place. And so we walk in, and I was just like, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, smoke-filled, dark club.
Yeah.
My least favorite thing. Like, we're not club people. Even when I was young, I wasn't, like, a club person. Like, our vibe is... sitting outside, having drinks, talking, or dancing to Whitney Houston. Like, you know, like we were having the time of our life. We should have just stayed. But he thought we would like the club. And I'm like, oh God, Omar, do you not know us at all?
It was nice.
Was it?
Yeah, he thought he was trying to, take us somewhere new.
No, I know. And I appreciated that. But we were all just like, okay.
It'd been a long day.
We gotta go. Like, we got to go, baby.
So we had a couple drinks there, and then that was it.
And then we walked home to our hotel, and that was a whole fucking fiasco.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? We drove to the bar, but walked home from the bar to the hotel.
I mean, I know. It was... We were so close, we didn't need to drive. That's what it was. So it was just like one of those crazy nights
that you'll never be able to reciprocate.
We'll never be able to do again. And it was so fun and so ridiculous and so all over the place. But it was such a good fucking time. It was such a good time. And at the end of at the end of every trip, we always do a
Peach Pit in Buffalo.
And that was everyone's
which is high moment, low moment, and like an off the wall, crazy, unforgettable, could be funny, could be weird, like moment is the Buffalo. It
was like everyone's.
Yeah.
So that was a fun night. God, there's so much to talk about with the trip. We did a really cool hiking overnight, and God. For me, the hiking stuff is my favorite. Like, I love being outside. I love moving. And not only it wasn't just like we were hiking. We were hiking through the Sierra Norte Mountains in a community called Pueblo Malcomundares.
Sure.
Something like that. But it's like 8 indigenous Zapotec communities that are completely separate from the state of Mexico. And they got their independence in like 1840 from the Spanish, like back in the day. So hearing that story, like how that happened, and because we had like a local guide that's like from one of the communities.
From the villages, yeah.
And so we got to learn so much about the history and like the culture and like there's not a lot of tourists there.
We were the only ones on the trail.
We were the only ones on the trail, the only ones in the villages that we stayed in. And all of your money goes directly to these communities. And we stayed overnight in this cute little cabin that had a
God.
fireplace. We picked mushrooms, wild fucking mushrooms.
And then they cooked them for us at the restaurants.
Yeah, like it was such a cool experience. It was cold, it was cozy, we were moving, we were active.
The hike was harder than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't think it was hard, but...
I mean, no, but like harder than I thought.
Yeah, because we were hiking over 10,000 feet. So I think anytime you're hiking at a higher altitude, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be hard, you know? Like, you could feel it. Like, we would walk and we're like, why are we so out of breath, you know? And it's just because you're at a higher altitude. I'm like, dude, we need to up our game for Everest because we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like before we left for Mexico, we were in, like, the best shape ever. And now I'm just like, oh, my God, like, oh, we have so much catching up to do to be in, like, good shape for Everest.
Well, no, and I did. It's funny how fast you lose it.
I know.
You know, which is, like, crazy because I was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah. But we're going hiking in Crete. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to come back for a couple days before the group gets here. And we're trying to find a place that has a gym so we could, like, get some workouts in. So that
I did find a sick workout place here in Athens that it's street workouts. And it's right across from the first ever Olympics, which I thought was pretty darn cool. You get to work out in that atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And they do, like, outdoor spin, outdoor strength, outdoor running, Pilates.
Let's go. That sounds amazing. I wanted to touch on real quick because the episode before we left the States, we were talking about kind of our new, trying to figure out like our new flow with like drinking and stuff, you know, while we're on the trips, and just kind of like we've just done a trip, right? Yeah. And now we're moving into the Greece trip, and so the Oaxaca trip, we definitely drank, as you can tell from the story. And it was fun. Knock on wood, never hungover. Like, I wouldn't say that I felt my absolute, like, thriving best every day. Like,
yeah, you weren't hungover.
No, I didn't get hungover one time. There was one night we were out till, like...
3 a.m. It was the baseball night.
Oh, right. You're right. That was that night. We got home. We went to bed at 2:30. And then we had to get up at
7.
Yeah, what did we even do the next
walking
day?
Tour?
Oh yeah, we were like,
I don't even remember the walking tour.
We were so like, oh shit, we were just tired. I think people were still drunk.
I was still drunk.
Yeah, the walking tour, and then that's when we did the cooking class. The 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then the night before our last night, the day we went to the waterfall, that's when I started to kind of feel bad. What did we do the night before? We were out late that night too, because remember we were like, we were out to our guide.
For the waterfall. Oh, we went out as a group. Where did we go?
I don't remember. Bogey's Bar.
Oh, God.
Always Bogey's fucking bar, dude.
We went to Bogey's Bar, and then we walked to the
rooftop
place. Rooftop.
Yeah. And so the next morning we had another early morning, and we were all like, oh my gosh, like just tired.
That's where we were putting all the stuff in your drink.
Oh my God, dude. I ordered this drink, okay, and it came with some garnish. And I'm just sitting there like...
And we ordered guacamole.
Yeah, I'm chatting, living my best life. And I look at my drink, and there's a chip in it. And I was like, that's weird. So then I blamed Colin, and I was like, why would you put a chip in my drink? I'm like, of course it's you. Who else would do it? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't do it, though. And I'm like, whatever, loser. And then we just keep carrying on. And then I, like, go and look at my drink, and, like, I thought to myself, they've really put a lot of garnish on this drink. Okay, weird, but I just took a sip anyway.
She's literally trying to find a place to put her lips to get a drink. There's literally a complete salad.
It's a garden
in her drink.
It's a whole garden. I'm like, this is interesting.
And Megan kept saying like, ooh, is that the dome thing that we keep seeing? So Kim turns around and we all just start piling stuff in her drink. And then she turned around and be like, yeah, that's where the event center is. Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, okay.
You guys are so mean.
And then she's like, what are those flowers? Are those the same ones we saw? So Kim turns around again, and now there's chips in there, and there's just like all like parsley and
so
cilantro
fucked
and
up, dude.
all this. And she's just like, and like still drinking around her like salad.
What a weird drink. That was so mean.
And I finally said, Kim, do you know that we ordered the same drink? And you're like, yeah, so? And I'm like, look at my drink. Look at your drink. Like, what is different? And you were like, oh my God.
That was so mean, dude. So mean. That was a fun night. I mean, again, it was great group. And one of the girls never left the U.S. before, which we get that so much. Like, a lot of people who haven't left the U.S., but they'll come on one of our trips because they're like, okay, I want to go, but I'm nervous. I don't want to go alone. And they know that they're going to show up. They're going to be with other people. Everything's planned. So it's a very easeful step into the travel life.
Isn't it amazing? You just said that, and it just brought back. Isn't it amazing in 2022 was Alexis's first time out of the country?
Yeah.
When she came to Peru. Now she's like been
everywhere
with
us. Yeah.
It just like kicked off a whole new person.
Yeah. But I feel like that's such a through line with all of our trips. It's like a lot of people come that have never left the country before, and they feel safe. And they feel like they have a built-in group of friends. Everything's figured out for them. And they're like, wow, this is awesome. And then they come on another one, and then they come on another one. And I love that because, you know, it's a lot to leave the country for the first time, you know? And she was like, it felt like, okay, it's close enough to home, but like, you know, it's still a big deal. And again, everybody was just a solo traveler. Nobody knew each other on that trip. As per usual, really.
No couples. And
nobody did know each other. And I love that too, because I think I'm so impressed with that because it's solo travelers that are like, cool, like I'm excited. I want to go on this trip. I want to meet people. But the act of it, of really, like, you're showing up into a group of strangers that you don't know. And like, I look at that as like, that's intimidating. Like, if I was like flying across the world to show up, and we know like these groups are cohesive, we all end up becoming like family and connecting, like we know that and we say that. But the act of showing up with a group of people you don't know, it's vulnerable and it's intimidating. And I just look at all these solo travelers doing it. I'm like, you guys are like my heroes. Because it takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there like that. To show up, to like meet people and not really know what you're going to expect. And I just think it's really fucking cool that people do that.
It's very impressive. I don't think I would do it.
I don't know if I'd like to think I would.
I know that once I got there and got into it, I'd feel cool about it, but I would be so nervous going in.
So nervous like, going in.
You have no clue who's there, what the energy's like. I mean, again, it is kind of hard because we say it till our faces are blue and we know it from seeing it proof in the pudding, but it's also like we're the owners of this company. And so, of course, like, you want people to feel comfortable, and in a world of today of like sales pitches and things like that, you just don't know until you're there. But that's also why we literally had somebody on the Oaxaca trip literally like, I'm going to New Zealand. Boom, done.
Oh yeah.
Like, booked it right there. Like, we had one slot that we weren't even going to fill.
No, that's not true. That group was filled. And then the person who is taking that last spot that was the trip had filled wasn't able to do it, the dates.
Oh, that's right.
And so that there was that one spot, and then she messaged me and she was like, hey, like, if there's a spot, like, I want to go, because her roommate is going to New Zealand. So they were talking and she's like, you know what, fuck it, I want to go. And I was like, well, there's this one spot because what's her name can't go. If you want, I was going to send out an email about the one spot, but if you want it, it's yours. And she literally paid right then and there. And she's like, I'm fucking going. And now they're going to be roommates in New Zealand. So that's the other cool part is that
they didn't even know each other.
They didn't even know each other before the trip. And I think, again, what I was saying about the solo travelers, like that first initial is intimidating, right? You're vulnerable, you're putting yourself out there. Even I'm a very social person. I feel like I'm friendly. I can talk to most people. Even the most social people, you're still nervous going into a group of strangers. I don't care who you are. So it's that initial interaction. But then what happens is a lot of these people then they become friends. And then they'll go do a trip together. So our Greece trip is a lot of different people who do know each other that are now going on these trips together, which is also really cool because now you have like a built-in buddy, and then they meet somebody new on another trip, and it just kind of becomes like that where people are like now travel buddies together. And I think that's so cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're like with the Greece trip, it's literally travel buddies from Peru, travel buddies from Bali, travel buddies from Patagonia are all coming together on this trip. And they're going to meet each other.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
I love that. Nothing makes me happier. And I'm just so grateful we get to do this. And I feel like we're about to go on a trip with our friends, to be honest, with this particular group, because we know everybody. Like, we know everybody. We're really close with everybody for the most part, so it almost feels like we're just going on a trip with our friends, but we're not.
And I think the one new Travsessed person is a friend of ours.
Yeah, we know everyone.
We've known her forever.
Yeah, from TravCon.
Well, then
way back in the day.
Emily's wife, which you've never met, but I feel like I know her.
Yeah, and Alexis brought a friend.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there was a couple, and then Emily and her wife brought their friend. So there's definitely some new people that we don't know, but then I kind of feel like we know them by proxy in a sense. So it'll be a cool trip. Another podcast will come out before the trip gets in. We'll record it before they come in. So we'll talk more about that next week.
Okay.
But yeah, I think just wrapping up Oaxaca, freaking awesome trip, amazing food. I will say Oaxacan food is dynamite. Like, if you are a foodie, Oaxaca, it's a great mix of like incredible chefy bougie restaurants, but then also market food and street food, and everything is like made by hand still, and it's all local and fresh ingredients, and it's just good organic, quality. Yeah.
Heirloom.
Yes.
Which we learned. That the majority of the things cooked are 100% heirloom, meaning they've originated there in Oaxaca.
Yeah.
They're not shipped from anywhere. This is original heirloom ingredients.
Yeah, like the produce and
the
stuff.
Corn and the everything.
Tomatoes and stuff. Yep. And so
avocados.
The food is incredible, but I was like, okay, I am done with Mexican food.
Do not serve me another tortilla.
I can't.
Homemade.
No,
with
I'm
my
done. Meat. Which is just funny how you can be somewhere with the best food in the world, but you always get sick of it when you're eating the same thing over and over again, right? Because I was so excited to be in Greece with like fresh seafood and vegetables and just
salads.
Oh my God, like yes. So, but then we'll be here and I'm sure we'll be like sick of it, you know? It's
just wanting a pizza.
Yeah, like you kind of whatever. But being here, I'm like, thank you, God. Like, I need some freshness.
Which everything in Mexico is fresh. It's just heavy.
It's just yeah. It's heavy when you're not used to eating like cheese and mole tortillas and mole. Yeah, every day. It's like, oh my God. I guess let's finish it with the story in the bathroom because we said we were going to talk about it.
That's how we're going to finish this podcast?
Well, unless you want to say something else. But this is
what you're going to leave people with for a week.
This was one of the worst moments of my life. Okay. And this was our last day and my stomach was just unhappy. And we're at this little tiny restaurant. Would you call it a restaurant? I don't know. It's not a restaurant. It was like a local spot.
Somebody's house.
ish. Yeah, they lived there. And they were making us breakfast, whatever, before we went.
Best thing I had all trip.
Yeah, you guys loved that. What was that?
It was a tayuda. A tayuda, which was basically a Mexican pizza. It was a huge homemade tortilla with masa, and then they flatten it, and it's like massive. It's the size of the entire like thing they cook it on, the clay pot. And then they filled it with Oaxacan cheese, quesillo, and then tomatoes and chilies, and oh my god, it was just like a flatbread pizza.
Hey, you guys
Crispy.
were into that. So I'm trying to eat, and my stomach was just like, okay, blah, we gotta go. And the bathroom sitch just ain't it, man. In Oaxaca.
In those countries, it's not.
And no, it's not. It's like
even here in Greece, there's no toilet seats.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, where we're staying.
Yeah.
But like, I saw it in a bunch of the restaurants. The place last night, no toilet seat.
There's a toilet seat in mine.
Maybe it was just the men's.
Yeah. But yeah, no toilet seats, just kind of like holes in the wall, like some are holes in the ground, non-flushable, wet, dirty. You know, you're just like, let's just say I always appreciate coming home to a clean, dry bathroom with a toilet seat. Like, you take that for granted in our country.
I mean, it was so bad that we had a long conversation in our group about how awesome the toilets in Japan are.
Oh, yeah.
How you can, like, put a warmer on and a massage and, like, sit there for hours.
Yeah. It sounds great, actually, right now. I would love that. A butt massage. And so I ran to the bathroom. Again, no toilet seat, nothing. And I had to go double D. And so you're not in a toilet seat, you're squatting, right? And so hovering. And I'm like just blowing ass everywhere. And I'm like, okay. So then you had to get a bucket of water to like flush. Like, that's how you flush. You couldn't just flush the toilet. And I turn around, and apparently I went all over the back of the toilet as opposed to in the toilet.
Oh my god. We should put a parental guidance on this.
So now I'm panicking because I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? There's no toilet paper. There's nothing to clean up anything. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I'm embarrassed. I'm like, freaking out. Is there somebody waiting to come in? So I like opened the door, and like there was nobody out there. So I ran.
What would you have done if there was somebody standing
I would have said, I need a minute to clean up. Or I would have just been like, somebody did something really disgusting in there. I don't know. But like, it wasn't me. I think it was that person. I would have pointed to you.
Of course you would have.
At the table. You would have just been smiling,
what if they
eating
didn't
your
speak
Tijuana,
English? My Tijuana?
Whatever it's called.
Tayuda?
Just like waving.
Yeah.
It was him. So I go and get a bucket of water.
So you had to leave the bathroom.
Yeah, but like the bucket of water was right outside the door. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to just try to get it into the toilet, you know? And it wouldn't. It just went everywhere. So then the floor of the bathroom was like, I don't know. Dirt-ish. And so
like clay.
Yeah. So I just freaking poured that water everywhere. And so basically it looked like the floor was just soaking wet, but it was really water mixed with my poop.
Oh my. Okay.
And that was the lowest moment where I was like, I just want to be home. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not okay. I'm literally so sick. I'm pooping everywhere. I have no control. And and I'm in a bathroom where like you could hear everything. So I know if somebody was out there, they heard me just rip roaring. You can hear, there's holes in the door. People can peek in and see. I'm like, this is not okay. And then I was walking in it. And that is exactly why we have a no shoe in the house policy, because you never know.
You can't poop in the toilet?
You never know what is on your shoes.
Well, duh. I would agree. But most people poo in the toilet.
Babe, I'm talking about in general.
Okay.
That is why no shoes are ever allowed in the house, because people had my diarrhea all over their shoes and they didn't even know it. That's disgusting.
/ you're proud of it.
No, I'm not. That was a hard moment for me, and I was so sick.
You came out of the bathroom and you said something bad happened to me in there. I literally thought like you fell in or something, and then you go to explain that to me, and I didn't even know how to respond. Yeah. All I could say was, "Which one were you in?"
That was traumatizing.
I bet.
It was very traumatizing. So
I will leave you with this. Let's wash that down with something.
Okay.
Right? So here's Kim's story. Stomach's upset. She's pooed all over the bathroom. Blue mud all over the toilet. Like some homeless person in a fucking porta potty. Mm-hmm. But one of the buffaloes of some people's moments was we take this bumpy ass road, which was horrible, by the way. That road up the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, what do you call it? And we're like, a dirt road? Like, he was like, it's this crazy bumpy road at 10,000 feet, like bumpity bump. So people's stomachs.
Beautiful, though.
It was gorgeous, but I was just like concerned about people's stomachs.
Yeah.
We go to this palenque, which is like somewhere where like they make mezcal by hand, and it was literally the coolest place we had been in the entire trip. And this was on the last day. And mezcal, there's a reason they drink it. It is pure medicine.
Yeah.
Literally, people with bad stomachs, we would go and get the putas, the heads, and 70% alcohol, and it would just kill everything in your stomach.
Yeah.
You would have no stomach issues, and that's one reason why they drink it after their heavy meals, is because it just like settles your stomach. Mm-hmm. And
it has healing powers.
We went to this palenque, and everybody was like, I'm not drinking at all.
Yep.
And then it ended up being the best mezcal we had the whole time. Okay.
Sorry.
Kim and I ended up buying a bottle, which we had not bought. It was coffee-infused mezcal. It was next level, absolutely amazing, and everybody felt great, and it turned like that whole day around.
Oh, 100%. I thought I was like on death's door, and I was like, I'm 100% not going to drink anything. And then I had that first sip of mezcal, and I swear to God, I instantly felt better. It's like, it really cures your stomach. Like,
look at Stephanie.
No, I know.
She doesn't even drink.
No.
She is now a mez clarita who is literally going to drink mezcal every day.
Yeah.
And we're going to find her at some farm in Mexico, in Oaxaca, opening up a palenque.
Yeah, 100%.
Never traveled outside the country, doesn't drink, but yet mezcal fixes her stomach every day.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, man. And I love, like, it was a family run place. All the palenques we went to were family run, like, which again, most of the families, they don't speak English. Well, none of them do.
A lot of
Some
them
of
speak
them speak Spanish. Yeah, and so our guide has to translate everything. But it's like hearing their stories and how they do things and how long it's been around. And like this particular family only sells to their local town. Like they don't sell anywhere else. And it was hands down the best mezcal we had the entire trip.
100%.
We were all like, oh my God, like this is it was smooth. It was just, but that's like his thing. He does micro batches. So very small amounts, but like really, really good quality.
Dude, his daughter was like 8 and like she's helping. His son is in the field chopping the agave plants to bring them back. His wife was like distilling, and they do all of this by hand.
Yeah.
They are burning it underground by hand. They're smashing it by hand. They are putting it into the distiller. They're dripping it by hand. I mean, it's insane the amount of love and time that goes into every one of these bottles.
And I have such a appreciation for mezcal because of the hard work, the time, the love that goes into each bottle is insane. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's amazing.
It's not mass produced.
No, it's really cool. I'm good right now.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to drink anymore.
Might help your stomach though.
Yeah, that's true. I need the puntas though. We don't have the puntas. That's the head. That's the good, the best stuff. Putas.
Not puntas. That's a bad word in Spanish.
Putas. But I hope this trip also shows another side of Mexico, right? Outside of just like the resort towns and this and that, and shows a really unique cultural experience that was so well-rounded, so freaking cool. And it gives it another name. I know there's like not another name, like a different, gives people a different view, because there was people who wanted to come on this trip, but then they were like nervous about safety and this and that. And it's like, I understand that, like the media like blows up Mexico as like this really dangerous place and blah, blah, blah. But Oaxaca is the safest state in Mexico. I never, ever, ever felt unsafe at all.
No.
Ever.
I felt more safe there than I do in most U.S. cities.
No, it's like, you're serious. The people are so nice and so welcoming. And it's like, just, we got to do a rebrand, you know?
Totally. And I think, like anywhere, you have to be on alert. You can't be silly.
Yeah.
But like, it is a, like, people thought that they were going to come to a poorer area. And it was this bustling little city. There's always something going on. There's a festival or a wedding, and they're all in the streets dancing. And it's like lively all times of the night. And it's just a really cool place.
It is.
And safer than Denver, Phoenix, and Honolulu combined.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you read that on Google?
No, it was an actual like blog.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we hope that sharing our trip opens up other people to be like, hey, like maybe I will venture there and experience a different side of Mexico. I mean, it's a 3-hour flight. It's so close to home, but you are in another country with the people and the culture and the language and the food and like the way that they do things. And it's like, you can feel you're in a different country and it's absolutely beautiful, but you're still so close to home.
Oh yeah. And they sure as shit don't cater to English.
Oh yeah. No, but nobody speaks English. Like our guides did.
Some of the restaurants.
Very, very rare. Like very rare.
Lavanderia de Olla.
Even, yeah, they were like the only ones. Even like our hotel, like we stayed at like a 4-star hotel. And they didn't even really speak English. We had to use Google Translate. Like they just do not care. They do not try to really speak English, which is fine. Like we're in their country.
We should speak their language.
But most of the people don't. So if you don't speak Spanish, you will definitely need Google Translate for sure. Unless you have like a guide with you. But anyways, it was an awesome trip.
Yeah. Hopefully Oaxaca 2025.
Yeah. We'll be popping. Yep. We'll be popping.
I would love to take 10 to 12 people there.
Yeah. I can't really think about it right now, but eventually I'll be able to.
Okay, buddy.
Once my tummy heals.
Okay.
I gotta go lay down.
We're going to order in, watch a movie.
Yeah. Just chill today.
We got to be up at 5 in the morning.
No, we got to be in the van, in the taxi at 5 a.m. Holy Mother Jesus.
That's what time I woke up this morning. 4:30.
You woke up at 4:30. Did we say how when we got here we slept for 24 hours?
No.
We literally...
We can talk about that next one.
Okay, we'll talk about all the Greece things
How
next.
we slept for 22 hours.
And we'll be on the other side of Crete, so we can talk about that too. Well, I'm excited to go explore new places with you. So let's get feeling better today. I need to go get some meds. I need to lay down and get better for tomorrow.
Totes.
All right.
Deuces.
We'll see you guys next week.
It's a whole new name now.
Oh, stop. My poor tummy. I don't know what's worse, pooping in the toilet or pooping in the bed. Disgusting.
You mean pooping outside the toilet?
No, you pooped in the bed and it stunk.
I had no control.
Ew.
Bye.